Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to SimRacing International and welcome to the next round of the SimRacing International GT3 Championship Season 12, the Masters Split, here from Suzuka. This legendary circuit in Japan is a fantastic venue for GT3 racing. It's going to be a very tough night for our drivers, I'm sure, but it's certainly going to be an entertaining one from where we sit up here in the commentary box. Chaz Draycott in the commentary box, flying solo at the moment. Dara Thacker unfortunately having some issues with his PC. I think he's lying and he's got better things to do, but hopefully Dara will be along very, very soon. You all know that this is unlike him and his hardware, so yeah, fingers crossed it will not be long before he can join us. We'll have a quick look at the championship standings, shall we, as things are at present as we come here to Suzuka. Marius Hibma leads the Drivers' Championship in the Pro standings, but he's only 2 points clear of his teammate William Humphrey, who is right behind for GlassTec Racing. Sam Darbyshire currently finds himself in third place, but he was not with us in the previous round of the championship. Matt Hoyland had a second place at Zolder. He was over the moon about that. He now sits in fourth place, ahead of Lewis Kenyon, who is the last remaining Vulkan driver in the standings by the look of it. John Breitenbach moved up into sixth place. I'm loving the logo on their team entries now with the barbecue bread on there. I'm not quite sure. It might be a grilled cheese sandwich, actually. He's got Serd Plurg next up behind him in seventh place. Danny Phillips moved up into eighth, despite his mistake that we definitely shouldn't mention at Zolder. Max Wheeler is ninth, and Mike Barber currently finds himself in 10th position. This is how the Inter-Championship standings look, and it's Adam Baker, 26 points clear of Barry Wenman. Barry's been having a good run, though, so far. He got 5th place last time out. Adam Baker was only 10th, so we had a lot of drivers finishing ahead of him in class. Marcel Breitenbach finds himself in 3rd position, ahead of Thiago Reiser in 4th, and then Robin Aston currently in 5th place. He was last season's Evo champion. John Treen is in 6th place, just ahead of John Ludbrook by 2 points. James Howarth is in 8th, another 12 points back. And then completing the top 10, we have Chris Jennings and then Nick Stube, who's had a bit of mixed fortunes in the last few rounds of the championship. And then last but not least, moving into the club standings, we have Andrew Larkman leading the way. He's 48 points clear of Rob Mackay. Andrew's been on the podium at every race that he's been to this season. Steve Rubino finds himself still in 3rd after winning that first round of the championship. He's been doing very, very well and has held his ground despite a DNF at Zolder. Stuart Rice had a DNF at Brands Hatch that he'll want to forget, but he still finds himself in 4th position. Michael Rhodes 5th ahead of Danny Weir. Then it's Daniel Poole in 7th, Scott Kostrick in 8th place, Daniel Meller 9th, and Pete Piver in 10th position, completing that top 10 in his Ferrari. Just a quick look at the Teams Championship as well, and you can see that it's GlassTec Racing at the top of the pile, 170 points clear of the team in 2nd position, which I cannot remember the name of because it's full tilt, isn't it? I'm pretty sure. No, it's not. Apologies. No, I've got the logos wrong. It's DDK in 3rd position, I know that much. And then Axis 4th and DXT Cyan in 5th position. But as you can see, all the way down the order, it gets closer and closer as you go further and further down. This is the calendar for the season. We are at round 7 tonight here at Suzuka. It's only the second but final time this season that we're going to have 2 30-minute races on our hands. It's going to be one of the longer evenings in the championship, but as you can see, we have mixed conditions as well. So plenty on the horizon for the drivers to contend with this time round. I'm very excited to see how they can put up with these conditions. We're just going to now take a little look at Marius Hibma, who is currently out on the circuit, and he's currently running in 3rd position in class, 3rd position overall, but Marius has been having one hell of a month. Every single week that we've come back to the SimRacing International GT3 Championship, you know I've been reminding you that Marius won at Brands Hatch, he then won at Zolder, but on both of those weeks he also won the feature race in my series, Formula CDM, the night before. So his Wednesdays and Thursdays have been very successful these last few weeks. Well, guess what? He won the feature race again last night in Formula CDM from Alton Park. So he's absolutely on it. Daniel Mellor is currently fastest in the club class, and he's up in 9th position. If you look at the overall standings on the left-hand side, Daniel Mellor just ahead of John Treen, who is off at the second of the Degners. You'll see that he's right up there. Andrew Lartman, who just avoided him actually, is 2nd in class at the moment. And it's Nick Stube wanting more championship points tonight. He is the top of the pile in the Inter class, doing a wonderful job there. 0.2 of a second clear. William Humphrey, the fastest driver out there right now, but it's Rhys Saunders in the Altitude 3M Esports Mercedes that is currently challenging him. It's great to see the Mercedes back on a good amount of form and with some solid pace behind it. We'll go on board right now with Nick Stube as he heads up towards 130R, the terrifying left-hander. Clips the grass a little bit on the way in. Massive commitment through there. I remember in a league I used to race in on iRacing, I had there was 3 races in one evening, and I was in the Audi R8 back in the day. It must have been about 2018, and in all 3 races I lost the back end of the car through there and had massive accidents in each and every race. He pulls over and decides that's that. Here's Marcel Breitenbach in the barbecue bread racing car, currently 15th in class, not having the easiest of times of it, but I'm sure that he'll be just hoping to make it safely through the race and gain positions gradually. Just 39 cars out there tonight, so a bit of a smaller grid compared to what we're used to. I mean, we've had over 50 at a number of rounds this season. We have just 11 cars in the club class, 16 of them in the inter class, and 12 cars currently in the pro class. So the inter class in the middle of the field is the one that is going to be the most hard fought. Menno Blum is currently in 2nd place. The Mercedes 1st and 2nd in the pro class. Sorry, 1st, 2nd and 3rd in pro class, then 1st and 2nd in inter, and then 4th and 5th is all they can manage in club, with the Porsche being the car to be in. Daniel Mellor, Andrew Lartman and Michael Rhodes, the top 3 there. But it's good to see Menno Blum back on our screens. We've not had him for a few rounds actually, but he's right up there. He's got his teammate Mark de Vries just behind him there as they head up towards 130R together. Love the look of this Mercedes. Great looking race car, especially with their sort of semi-holographic stickers down the side of it. And hopefully they're looking forward to a pretty smooth evening of racing. John Breitenbach is the highest placed car in the field that isn't a Mercedes. 4th place overall for him and in class in that Porsche. Doing a lovely job in that gorgeous livery. I really do love the look of the barbecue bread racing car. They've always had good looking race cars, but this season it's gotten even better. This is definitely one of their finest art cars, as it would be. But Andrew Lartman, he's going well in a Porsche as well. Currently 2nd in class in club, but he's 13th overall as he drives off the road. But he's doing a wonderful job. His teammate Chris Jennings is 7th in the inter class right now. Half a second off the fastest time, but as you can see, it's really close between all of these classes. So the drivers have to be mighty, mighty on it. Just 1/10 of a second here or half a tenth there could gain you a position or two on the grid, especially when it comes to overall times. Got a couple of drivers that were last out there on wet tyres. Hussein Sarika Desler was out there. Robin Noel Brown, Robin Aston and Michael Rhodes are all currently showing us on wet tyres, which I find quite interesting. If I just show you on the right hand side here, you'll see what tyres they're on. Very odd, isn't it? Sorry, if we just swap them around a little bit and do that with it. You can see the car and the tyre compound. Really, really interesting that, isn't it? I think I preferred it the other way. There you go, do some Mexican waves with it. But yes, we have a mixture of tyre compounds at the moment. Unfortunately, though, technical issues for Dara, so he's not able to join me in the commentary box just yet. But let me know if you're watching along. Let me know where you are, where you're watching from, and who you're rooting for here tonight. I can see that Mr. Clark has said, let's go GlassTec and Vulkan Fasteners and SimStrat. Let's not forget that we do have the... Actually, no. I do not see... Oh, yeah, Yanis Albert is there. It's the SimStrat by GlassTec Racing entry. But he is currently 9th in class, 16th overall. That is not like Yanis at all. We've got the original Gavlar loading the setups. And that's exactly why they are going to be on wets, isn't it? It's a good point. They're making sure that they've changed over to the wet tyres before they jump into the race session, which will be now. And all of a sudden it goes nice and calm. John Ludbrook for the win. It's his birthday. Fantastic. Well, we're going to have to slate him for that over the course of the evening. As you can see, conditions have changed, but not yet raining. Interesting. It's currently only a tiny bit of wind, not really much pressure, but it's still just overcast at the moment. Humidity is 89% though. And there you can see the rain coming in. There you go. It suddenly just started, didn't it? It's just suddenly started raining at the beginning of the session, and that is going to be that. So while the drivers sit on the grid ready to go, you can see up and down the pit lane it is raining from one end to the other. They're probably going to be starting on the back straight here. In fact, no, they're starting near Spoon Curve. So they've got a long old way to go, but yeah, a hell of a lot of rain falling down on the cars. So it's going to be rain from the get-go here at Suzuka. And hopefully we'll be able to see those raindrops the whole time, because I've edited the cameras a little bit to show them off, and you can see just how wet it is. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, this. If it's raining from the very beginning. Still a bit of blue sky over there on the exit of Spoon. But it's definitely not ideal conditions, is it? That surface water will build up very, very quickly. But it's William Humphrey starting on pole position here tonight. Rhys Saunders alongside him. Marius Hibma on row 2 with John Breitenbach. Then it's Matt Hoyland and Mike Barber starting on row 3. Good to see Mike Barber going well in the Quatermass car. Nick Stube, fastest in the interclass. He starts alongside Menno Blum on row 4. Daniel Meller, fastest in the club class. He starts alongside John Treen and completes the top 10 positions. Then it's Laurent de Dapper. He's alongside Danny Phillips. Hopefully he remembers to put enough fuel in this time. Andrew Larkman will start 13th with Nathan Anstis alongside him. It's all pro drivers on the right-hand side of the grid there, as Lewis Hammond then lines up next to Yanis Albert. We then have Hussein Sarakadeslo alongside Chris Jennings. Then it's Mark De Vries and Adam Baker who complete the top 20. Barry Wenman is 21st ahead of Andre Muntian. Then it's Jan Osberg and Robin Noel Brown. James Howarth is 25th ahead of Robin Aston, with Marcel Breitenbach and John Ludbrook complete in row 14. Then it's Michael Rhodes and Rob Mackay on the 15th row of the grid. And the final 9 cars are Jan Nage, Danny Weir, Stuart Rice, Max Wheeler, Andy Chell, Brian Beardsworth, Pete Piver, Andrew Fellows and Stephen Donnelly. 3 of them not taking to the start just yet, I can tell you. One of them being Andrew Fellows, who is sat in the pit lane in his Porsche. I wonder if he didn't take wet tyres to begin with. But John Breitenbach, who would have started 4th on the grid, is not up there with the guys. I'm not quite sure why. It's all GlassTec cars on the right-hand side of the grid there. They couldn't make that up, could they? Very intriguing to see. But the rain is coming down, and with it, the frame rate, I have to say. Hopefully it'll be okay as the race goes on, though. And yeah, sorry, Mr. Clark. I do apologise. Yeah, John Breitenbach has loaded in, but the car is on dry tyres apparently, so he's going to have to wait for the start of the race to be able to put those wets on and make the most of these conditions. That is a big, big shame, but it's easily done. I actually tried some wet weather racing against some of the AI on iRacing this afternoon. Had a fantastic time. It is wonderful when you're behind the wheel. It's very immersive. It's very good fun. Hopefully tonight is going to be good fun as we get round number 7, the first race of 2 here tonight, underway from Suzuka. It's William Humphrey alongside Rhys Saunders waiting for him to get going, and he suddenly pulls the pin and we're racing for the first time tonight. Everybody filters through in the background. Look at all the GlassTec cars sticking to each other as close as they can. Rhys Saunders trying to hold it around the outside of Marius Hibma. Is he going to be able to do so? He's going to have a good line out there, but he needs to be careful of that wet curb. All of them do as they get down towards turns 1 and 2 for the first time. Looks like everybody's behaving themselves. A couple running a little bit wide in the midfield. We'll go on board with Michael Rhodes and see what it looks like from his perspective as they go up the hill for the first time. You can see everybody tiptoeing their way through these first couple of corners. Somebody off the road. That's Hussein Sarakadesla over on the right-hand side. He's losing places and he's losing time. His teammates go through on the right-hand side, but great start by William Humphrey as the cameraman falls over. He leads the entire field in this opening moment. You can hear the rain coming down for just a moment there. Really, really heavy rain all of a sudden. For some reason, the car logos haven't shown up on the left-hand side for a number of drivers. Really don't know why, but we will sort that out. Matt Hoyland has been off the road and back on again. We'll have to have a look and see exactly how he managed that. There we go, we do have car logos, but William Humphrey leads them. Matt Hoyland trying to fight his way back through. He's got Laurent de Dapper on his right-hand side just ahead of him, and then Menno Blum alongside. Looks like everyone's behaved themselves. Never mind, that's Andre Muntien, and he is off along the inside of the hairpin. John Ludbrook is off on the middle there as well. Happy birthday, John. Deary me, lots of contact. Stephen Donnelly from the back of the grid has gained 10 places off the start. He's having a real belter. Loads of them running wide. Andre Muntien has had to get on the brakes, and he's out of the race. Oh, dearie me. What on earth happened to Andre Muntien? I think it involved Max Wheeler, potentially. No, Max is at the back of the field. And I think he's just been struggling to get the car to behave itself. Yeah, he's just run wide there. Let's have a look at what happened to Andre. Oh, this is actually the second time he went off the circuit, so let's have another look before this. Apologies. Let's find out. So he's going up the hill. Oh, one of the Mercedes off in the background there. That was Jan Osberg. Andre's just got in deep. The Mustang's got in deep as well. He goes left. I don't know why he went left, but he goes left thinking that that's the way to avoid them all, and unfortunately it's not. But look at the weather already. There's lots of spray being kicked up by the cars now. They're beginning to get those rooster tails off the back. A lot of surface moisture, so those wet weather tyres are going to come into their own quite quickly here. Nathan Anstis moves up a place. There's a few cars with damage further back. Andy Chell, one of them. Jan Nage is another one. Quite a few of them struggling on the opening lap. Danny Phillips fighting there with Yannis Albert. Yannis taking absolutely zero prisoners in these conditions. The German doing everything he can to make up ground in the opening moments, but it's still Nick Stube leading the way in class. He's up to 5th place overall, is Nick Stube. What a great first lap. And Daniel Meller, 6th overall, leading the way in club. Down the inside goes Yannis, but no, you've got to be really careful of people switching lines in these conditions. Oh, that's really touchy stuff between the Porsche and the Mercedes, and through goes John Treen on Menno Blum. Menno actually running a little bit wide after that as well. Yannis sees an opportunity. Down the inside he goes. Great commitment into there. And he is away. Bit of argy-bargy in the background there as Danny Phillips has a bit of a scrap with Lewis Hammond. Lewis was flashing the lights at somebody there, and I don't quite know who. He's going to go deep into the hairpin as well. They both do. Danny Phillips loses the back end slightly. Got the grip is going to just disappear lap after lap from them all now. Oh, cameraman really fell over there. This is Daniel Meller in the GPX SimSport Xenon car. Up to 6th position, having a wonderful start to his race. Just needs to keep it nice and tidy. We spoke about how good Daniel was back at Zolder and how he just needed to look after himself basically before anyone else. And he did make the odd little mistake here and there from the class lead, but he managed to hold on to it right to the end of the race. Adam Baker here, 7th place in class, chasing Andrew Larkman, who's 2nd in class. He's being chased by Andrew Larkman. 2nd in class in the Porsche. He's got a good few places between himself and Daniel Meller. He doesn't need to worry right now. Meller has actually just gotten past Matt Hoyland, has he? No, Hoyland gets past him. So Meller just saying, nope, after you, sir, don't you worry about that. It's Stuart Rice in the BMW. He's just been overtaken by Stephen Donnelly on this lap. There's all car off. That's a Mercedes off and in the wall. That's a Vulkan Fasteners car. And that's Jan Osberg going one way, then the other. Look how tentative some of the guys are being there. The Porsche of Hussein Sarakadesla just taking it really slowly. But Jan Osberg off the road and into the barriers. Very easily done this as he comes up to 130R. All it takes is just clipping that little bit of Astro on the right-hand side, and the back end of that car is absolutely destroyed. He'll be very frustrated with that one, will Jan. A really easy mistake to make. We ride now on board with Nathan Anstis. Looking forward, there's quite a bit of real estate, but if you look behind him, you'll see we've got Laurent de Dapper, who's second in the interclass at the moment, or he was, runs wide. He does actually hold the position. That was Yannis Albert going past him there. Yannis in the pro class, of course. But these guys all trying to sort it out in these very, very tricky conditions. But Nathan going well in the 3W UKSR car. I think it is going to be a bit tame in the opening stages. We'll have to see how long the rain lasts and sticks around for. But at the front of the field, William Humphrey, second in the championship at the moment to Marius Hibma by just 2 points. He's really making an example of this. He's driving beautifully. We know that William can. He's sometimes at the centre of incidents that he doesn't need to be at the centre of, but I tell you, when he's out there and cracking on, he is very quick, very consistent, alien-like consistency. Very robotic. Marius Hibma in second place, and then Rhys Saunders still holding on to third place. Like I said earlier, good to see Mike Barber going well in that Quatermass Motorsport car. Lovely stuff for him at the moment, 2 places gained. And he'll be hoping that that continues for the rest of the night. Side by side there, Daniel Meller getting overtaken by Nathan Anstis. Daniel thinking for the sake of his class position, he's not going to bother in that fight at all. He may as well just sit behind, let Anstis go, because if you look on the left-hand side, you'll see just how much real estate he's got between him and a number of the other guys in his class. Certainly nothing to worry about from Daniel Meller's perspective. And that is just a couple of laps in the books. 3 laps completed now. 2 minutes 16 per lap around here in a GT3 car. It's quite amazing, really, that a lap can take that long in a car so quick. You would have thought it would be much less than that, but no, Suzuka is quite a long circuit. Yannis Albert now right with the Porsche of Daniel Meller. You'll expect that Daniel will maybe move over when convenient and let him go by, but oh, Yannis is getting very close to the back of him. He's trying to look down the inside. He's saying, look, I want to get through. Daniel's saying, look, just wait until somewhere more convenient. I will move out of your way. I mean, Yannis has been able to surely see that Daniel's been moving over, but I suppose that Yannis knows this is the time to get positions made. Listen to them on and off the throttle as they go up through here. There's standing water absolutely everywhere. It's an absolute roller coaster ride, isn't it? A Lamborghini Huracan GT3 in the wet at Suzuka. He's got a fantastic run off the corner there, though. Surely he's going to overtake Daniel down the inside now. Yes, Daniel backs out of that, says, I don't want anything to do with that. Laurent de Dapper and John Treen, the next 2 cars on the scene. Flipping heck, John nearly flies into the back of him there and makes contact, but manages to avoid doing so. A few cars further back as well, some of his teammates, actually. Adam Baker and another LS racing car being attacked by Chris Jennings. He's also being attacked by Barry Wenman. Stephen Donnelly, by the way, is having an amazing race. 18 positions gained in just 3 laps. And Pete Paiva as well in the Ferrari. The lone Ferrari in the field tonight, going really well. He's gained a lot of places. 15 of them, in fact. So long may that continue for Pete. He's had some great races this season, and he went really well in the wet conditions, actually, back at Virginia in a previous round. Makes a little bit of contact and, okay, just drives into the side of Michael Rhodes as he goes around him. That is for class position. But once again, the Ferrari doing that weird lighting glitch bug thing where from distance everything's really dark black in the cockpit of that car. It seems like it's not affected. It's Vanta black, as they would call it. He backs out of that one, doesn't want to be too close to the car in front. You could see a number of them doing that, actually. Look at the spray. Really wet conditions here as Nick Stube follows along behind his teammate Matt Hoyland. Matt is currently up into 6th position. You can see actually a very slick, shiny, rubbered in, dry racing line that they're all trying to stick to even now, but it's just absolutely slick. As the water just sits on top of the rubber and doesn't really go anywhere. There's no grip there now at all. It's the opposite of what it would be in the dry conditions. You can see they're just having to sit in the middle of the road, avoid all that standing water. And another thing from testing some of the cars today, as I was saying, I was driving in the wet on iRacing earlier today. The visibility, I mean, we watch it on board actually. I'll go back on this shot. You can see that the visibility does feel impaired, but I mean, this is further back in the cockpit. When you're right up at the driver's seat, it does feel so dramatic. You know, the lack of visibility is huge, especially if you've got triple screens and it's wide enough to show you the sides of the car as well. You really do feel like there's a lot going on in your peripheral vision. Not a lot going on in William Humphrey's peripheral vision, though. He leads the way in the Mercedes right now, doing a great job. 2:18.2 last time round. He was 1.1 seconds quicker than Marius Hibma in second place. There you can see that shiny racing line, can't you, where the rubber all sits. It's not drying out anytime soon. But William Humphrey is doing so well at the front of the pack. Considerably faster than everybody else on that last lap. You could argue that there's no visibility, but he's got that much of a gap that the others don't have to worry about visibility. They don't have the spray kicked up long enough for how far ahead he is. Side by side here with Danny Phillips and Barry Wenman, 2 DXT cars. Side by side they go as they sort it out on the exit of Spoon. The Aston Martin just behind them there. Great to see Robin Noel Brown back with us as well. Lovely to see him in this GPX SimSport Onyx car. I think he's one of the only Aston Martins in the field tonight. Yes, he is the only Aston Martin. It used to be Hayden Miller that was the only guy in the Aston Martin, but unfortunately, he isn't in the championship. And you can hear that. Marcel Breitenbach on the left-hand side there in the Porsche. Look at that, 3 wide into the chicane in the rain. No thank you. Marcel Breitenbach round the outside, then to the inside. Lovely move. It's not for class position, but it's one to be proud of. And as James Bostock has pointed out in the YouTube chat, good to see you, boss. It is going to be a top 20 reverse grid for race 2. Oh, in the background there, Mark de Vries. No front end on his car. I think that's from the earlier contact down at the hairpin, maybe. It's not going to feel great, the front of that car, to say the least. You have to forgive me every so often for a slight silence as I either have a drink or just take a breath. Typically, once again, as commentary season comes around the corner, I'm in the early stages of a bad cold at the moment, so trying to fight through that. Look who's back with these guys, by the way. Stephen Donnelly, 20 places gained now, started 39th and last on the grid, and just look at him carving his way through. It's like he's driving in dry conditions and everyone else is in wet conditions. Do you remember that, actually, from not long after iRacing released the wet weather? I think for the Daytona 24, people were having different conditions dependent on when they got in the car or something like that. Like there was different amounts of water on the track for different people. Well, Stephen Donnelly was certainly driving like it was dry just then. Flying past these guys. Look at him again, just so late on the brakes. Tries to go around the outside of Marcel. There might have been contact there between the Porsche and the Mustang. But Stephen Donnelly driving a belter. He's still actually having to fight a little bit there as well, with the car to his right-hand side. Not behaving itself at all, the Aston Martin. Robin Noel Brown doesn't want anything to do with that. It's a great scrap all the same. Donnelly puts his nose down the inside now. Chris Jennings in that big old Mustang. Mustang versus Corvette, a legendary fight indeed. And he just gets the traction off the corner, gets the job done, and away he goes. Humphrey once again half a second faster than his teammate Marius Hibma on that last lap. 16 minutes to go. We're nearing the halfway point of this race. And it is all very, very exciting, but very, very tiptoey through 130R. Can Marcel Breitenbach do that same move again? He's going to go late on the brakes around the outside of Danny Phillips. No, but look at that. Oh, no, Stephen Donnelly. Big send up the inside, and then, oh, that didn't have to happen. Oh, and Marcel shoved him off the road. And now Stephen Donnelly ends up with a slowdown penalty. No, Pete Paiva. Pete Paiva in the Ferrari has got a slowdown penalty. Oh, that's a big shame. Let's have a look at this from Stephen Donnelly's point of view. So you can see Marcel on the right-hand side. Stephen does come from miles back. Oh, he's just gone late on the brakes. It's just going in a straight line. Makes contact with Marcel. Marcel does come back on, hits the front as Stephen, and then he just says, no, get out there. Yeah, he's not very happy with him. Very feisty stuff there. Hopefully that doesn't come to more of a head on this following lap. But yeah, Pete Paiva with a drive-through penalty for too many incident points. Look at Donnelly using the wet line, trying to go around the outside. He's trying everything he can to get past these boys. Oh, sideways as he leaves the S's. But again, look at the traction off the corner. That's absolutely incredible by Donnelly. That car working so well in the wet here, that Corvette. Side by side with the Porsche, carries the speed around the outside. Looks to go to the inside line again, no doing there. Lots of standing water, and again, Donnelly gets back in front of Marcel. Marcel very close to the back of him. I think he did hit him, actually, and I think Robin Noel Brown went in deep as well. Oh, and Stephen Donnelly has a black flag, so too does Marcel. So all three of them now hitting too many incident points. Paiva, Donnelly and Breitenbach. Daniel Meller will be loving life still as he leads the way in class, continuing to be miles away from anybody around him. In class anyway, he's got John Treen for company right with him there in another Porsche. But John is second in the interclass. So really, Daniel doesn't need to worry about him. If John wants to fight this, Daniel will probably let him go. Yeah, he's backed off. Looks like the rain might stop soon, actually. The sky is clearing a lot in front of us. So potential for it to dry out before the second race of the night could be very interesting. Two LS racing cars right together. Larada Dapper chasing his teammate Adam Baker. Let's not forget Adam leading the way in the Interclass Championship at the minute, hoping to extend that championship lead. He had a 10th place back at Zolder that he'll want to forget about. But interesting racing so far. Jean Breitenbach has lost 15 places from where he started, but that is definitely not a definitely not representative of how he's actually getting on, because he should have started 4th on the grid. He started in the pit lane and he's come through from right down near the back. Ryan Racing saying Daniel is cooking in the class. He absolutely is, isn't he? Absolutely wonderful stuff by Daniel. This is how it looks as well on the left hand side. You can see him there, the blue stripe denoting the club class, green for Inter, red for Pro. He's just got such an advantage. He doesn't really need to push that hard. He's got so many cars between him and others. Mike Barber losing 2 places at once there to Nathan Anstis and Yanis Albert. They've got Nick Stube with them as well. Nick Stube just in front. He leads in the interclass. But it's all going on here. A hell of a lot to look at. But we'll stay on board with Mike Barber and just see how he fares for the rest of this lap, because these guys are all very close to tripping over each other. There's a lot of standing water. Nick Stube has tripped over himself. He's slid wide. Anstis tries to go to the inside line. Albert tries to get a run. It's just nothing doing there for the car that we ride on board with on the exit. So let's go on board with Yanis Albert, and suddenly you've got a face full of spray. Even the rear view camera as well, absolutely caked in spray. Whoa, big moment for Anstis and big moment for Albert. Both of them completely sideways there on the way into Spoon Curve. Everybody running wide. Nick Stube has gone miles wide. Albert gets his nose down the inside of Anstis, who again uses the wet line to get a slingshot off the corner. Brilliant racing in these conditions. So difficult to do. Danny Phillips now has a black flag and is backing out of it. Jean Breitenbach now moves ahead of him. Plenty of black flags here because track limits are quite harsh here around Suzuka, and it's easy to slip wide of them when it's raining this hard for this long. You can see just how much standing water there is on the road. It's absolutely sodden on the way into that chicane. We'll go on board with Yanis again. Look at it. It's like an absolute mirror, the racing surface. It's not so bad as it falls down the hill here, but look at the pit lane. The pit lane's an absolute river. There's just water everywhere at the minute. This is not ideal conditions, but that's what makes it so interesting and so exciting, as Anstis and Stube have a bit of a scrap. Nick Stube not giving this up for anybody. He may lead the class and have pro drivers behind him, but he's not backing out. He's absolutely going for it. I'm sure he's got a smile on his face, much like that one in his picture as well right now. Look at where the water crosses the racetrack there as you go from one side of the chicane to the other. You can just see the way that the water runs across the surface. So treacherous out there. But somebody that's continuing to take it all in his stride is William Humphrey. Every single lap he is faster and faster than everybody else. He's been doing personal bests, but it's getting a bit more slippery now, so he's gradually slowing down. But he was 1.3 seconds faster than Marius Hibma on that last lap. But Hibma did start to close in on him, so it's definitely not over between the two teammates, but the pair of them will be happy to lead the way 1 and 2, as Marius touched on last week, with the Vulkan cars no longer competing. It's a huge shame not to have them because it may be quite dominant now from the GlassTec Racing squad. They've got 4 cars inside the top 5. One of them being Nick Stube at the front of this train, who is unwilling to move out of the way. He's not in any way obliged to move out of the way of these interclass drivers. The pro class drivers, while he's in the interclass. I think some of the pros would maybe appreciate it if he moved over. He removes himself from the picture, runs wide into Spoon. Hopefully a safe enough rejoin. Lovely stuff around the outside line, and he somehow holds the place. Fantastic. Nick Stube really committed through there, but again, track limits are not going to be helping him as Marius Hibma has gone off the road. Marius Hibma has just had a little excursion. Chris Jennings has just been off as well. Let's have a quick look. That's what happened to Chris on his way up to the hairpin. He's going to run wide here and then go straight across the inside. Whoa, never mind. No, he's not. That is a big old housing block to spin around like that. Goodness me. Let's have a look what happened to Marius. Oh, just a little bit late on the brakes there. You can see that that was hot into there. Straight lines the chicane, goes through the exit road bit to try and get rid of the slowdown penalty. And then has to continue from there. Very close stuff. There's 3 cars in there, believe it or not. Yanis Albert is in the back of that with that Lamborghini. Just 8 minutes left to go here in the first race of the night. Here at Suzuka in the SimRacing International GT3 Championship in the Masters Split. Hope you're all enjoying it so far. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. Certainly is quite an interesting night of racing so far, to say the least, with these weather conditions, isn't it? Very treacherous. Any moment, any of it could go wrong. But they're all handling it so well. Look at this train now. John Treen onto the back of this, right up behind Mike Barber. Another Porsche joins the fray. But they're all being so moderate on the throttle, aren't they? They're having to be on and off, on and off, on and off all the time. But these 5, whoa, big moment there. These 5 all absolutely together. And we're here for it. It's fantastic to watch. Hard onto the brakes. They go into the hairpin, almost coming to a complete stop there. Got Adam Bacon out all over the back of Lewis Hammond. This is for class position. This is... might not be in a minute. He's all over the back of the fellow Porsche. Oh, sticks it to the inside line. And then loses time on the exit. Great race though so far. Oh, look at it going wide there. Scary stuff. Very scary indeed. But these guys are putting on a hell of a show, it's safe to say. Thank you very much, Gavla. I'm glad you're enjoying the commentary. Even with a cold, I'm hoping that I can somehow pull off a performance. Brian Beardsworth has got a bit of a performance for us here. I think he's going to go a little bit deep into Spoon, down the inside, back end's gone. It's already gone. And it's a very slow and lazy spin for the McLaren. At least we get a good look at it. It's a beautiful car. Lovely livery. Not sure on the red wheels matching that, but still. Very good looking race car all the same. Nick Stube, 5th place overall, still ahead of these pro drivers. Although John Treen in the white and gold Porsche, just in 4th place in this queue, is in the same class as straight on. Bye-bye Nathan Anstis, bye-bye Nick Stube. They all go wide. Nathan Anstis just gives a little bit of a tap to the back of the Mercedes. They both somehow get away with it, and Yanis Albert will be going, just move out of the way. Please, for the love of all that is holy, please shift. The thing is, it's so treacherous that if Nathan was to go for a move, or if there was to be a mistake from Nick, Yanis can't just throw the car down the inside, because what if Nathan then cuts back and tries a different line? You know, they're going to be just tripping over one another. They have to be so careful. This group is 13 seconds behind Matt Hoyland. But listen to them. Whoa, goodness me, who was that? Jan Osberg there, moving very slowly at the side of the road. Does his best to get out of the way, but good God, that was scary. Andrew Larkman has been off now. He's going to go off here at turn 1. Down into turn 1. Oh, he's already gone deep, you can tell. You can just tell by the angle of the car, and it's going to come to a stop. Oh, dearie me, that was ugly. Ugly stuff that was. Almost as ugly as when these guys went up over the top of the hill. Let's have another look at it, shall we? So there's Jan Osberg just in front. In fact, I want to see this from John Treen because he was a little bit further back and in the spray. They're all lifting, they're all braking. Oh, it's pretty scary, even from a roof camera as well, where you can see a bit more than the drivers can. Well, William Humphrey crosses the line with 4.5 minutes left to go in this race, and as you can see, he's got quite the lead over his teammate, 6.5 seconds back to Marius Hibma. And he's just going to be taking it easy now. He did a 2:19.1 on that last lap. Matt Hoyland actually went quicker than him from 4th position. Hoyland doing a 2:18.6 on that last lap. So putting in some brilliant times. As Nick Stube. Nick Stube has been off the road and he's got a slowdown penalty, so he's going to have to serve that in front of all these guys. But that's fine, because as long as he only lets Nathan Anstis and Yannis Albert through, Nathan flashing the lights at him, he's desperate to get through. As long as he doesn't let John Treen through in the white and gold Porsche, then he's going to hold on to his class lead. But all of these guys want to come through. He actually served that on the straight somehow. Oh, Rob Mackay. Rob Mackay has come to blows. He's lost it at 130R, the Super Noodle Dog. I can read, I know it's a special noodle dog. But still, Nick Stube holds on to 5th place. He's doing an absolutely gargantuan task here of holding on to this place, but he's doing it wonderfully, isn't he? Very well done. Oh, just about. Big wobble there as he comes up over the crest of the hill once more. Anstis has the run on him, but has he got anywhere to go? I don't think he does. He's got no answer for it. He's just got to follow really closely and try not to hit the back of that Mercedes. It's got a very punchable face as the Mercedes, but I don't know about the rear of it. It's a very good-looking race car. Oh, just behind as well. You can see, if you look in the rear view mirror, you can see John Treen trying it this way and that way on Yannis Albert. Nathan Anstis again puts his nose down the inside and he can't quite make anything of it. Great racing, this. But look at the commitment through there. Anstis completely pinned, whereas Nick Stube has to back out of it slightly. All you can see is the flickering rain light of that Mercedes, and he has to back out early once again to not go in the back of him. Nick Stube again running wide all over those curbs. It's scary stuff. There's a battle for 8th and 9th in class here in the Pro class. As Robin Noel Brown gets that Aston Martin sideways in front of the Porsche of Jean Breitenbach. Jean started right near the back of the field, by the way. Started in the pit lane, and he's gone all the way up to 16th place. So, at worst, he's gained 22 positions. Which is just nuts. He is absolutely on it right now. Move up there for Adam Baker and Lewis Hammond. They're getting friendly with one another. They've swapped places a couple of times in the last few moments. Barry Wenman can sense an opportunity here. This is the battle for the podium, the final podium spot in Inter. Wenman down the inside, nearly contact with Lewis Hammond. Sorry, with Adam Baker. And then Laurent de Dapper wants part of this as well, actually. He's chasing his teammate now in all of this. Right behind the McLaren, which should come with an epilepsy warning, the spray. Doesn't need to move over on a straight. Doesn't need to move over on a straight. Don't know what Laurent was doing there, but he's going to muck himself up into turn 1. Oh, he has. He has. I don't know what he was doing. He was moving over to the left. I don't know why he needed to make contact with Barry Wenman there. I know he wanted to open up the corner, but he overdid it, and that was that. Yannis Albert finally passed Nathan Anstis. Again, I don't know why he needed to turn into Yannis there as well. Maybe just trying to correct as the slide, but certainly looks suspect, doesn't it? But now Yannis straight on the attack of Nick Stube. He doesn't want to hang around and wait behind that Mercedes. He's going to put his nose down the inside. No, he's not. He's going to go sideways. Great save from the Lamborghini driver. I don't know why he has a flag for the Seychelles on the rear of the... on the side of the rear wing, sorry. Goodness me, it's all kicking off. John Treen under attack from Mike Barber now. That's another inter-class driver alongside a pro-class driver. Adam Baker and Robin Noel Brown have both been off the road. Daniel Mellor, by the way, still leading his class. This is what happens when you just stay out of dramas. You know, he's let a number of people through so far in this race, and he's just made it easy for himself. He's currently 10th overall. He's only lost 1 place from where he started. Oh, steady. He's lost a bit of grip on the way into Spoon Curve. And Nick Stube still leading his class. Despite all the dramas in this battle behind him, he still leads the way. William Humphrey has just crossed the line and started the final lap of this race. He's heading down the start-finish straight now into turn 1 with one more circulation to go. If he'd have just slowed down by a couple of seconds, well, 1, he'd probably have been caught by Marius Hibma, but 2, he'd have probably had this race be one lap shorter. Round the outside, Yannis Albert tries to get it done. No, Nick Stube still holds his ground. This is epic stuff from Nick. It's really committed. He's certain that he doesn't want to let any of these drivers through, but that Porsche on the right there is also in the interclass, so he can't afford to let him through or he'll lose the class win, and John Treen will pick up on that one. Certainly committed in this Mercedes, but it has rained completely throughout this race and it continues to do so. Robin Noel Brown coming into the pit lane to serve a drive-through penalty in his Aston Martin. His race not ending the way that he would have wanted. Now Yannis is just going to look for an opportunity here to get a cutback. Watch him now. He's going to try and go to the inside, but Nathan Anstis wants to stick his nose down the inside as well. Nothing doing there yet. Can he do it this time round? Look, Yannis is going to go wide and then try and cut back to the inside. There's a wobble and through he goes. Through they all go. Is John Treen going to go through as well? That's the important thing here. This Porsche really needs that position to take the class lead. He's not quite able to do it just yet. Nick Stube goes a little bit deep onto the brakes, nearly into the back of Nathan Anstis, but manages to sort it all out. John just taking it easy now, not getting too excited. Oh, never mind, runs a little bit wide out of the second Degner. Oh, the back end of that car really squirreling around. It's great to watch, though, as they float their way up to the hairpin. They absolutely come to a stop through that hairpin, don't they? Although he's actually managed to get alongside Nick Stube, but no. Whoa, big moment for Nick, and through goes John. That was very, very close stuff. Nick really, really close to having a big old accident there. But into the final corner comes William Humphrey to take the victory here at Suzuka in the first race of the night. Very well done to him. He's going to cross the line, a very, very happy bunny. Marius Hibma is going to finish in second place. Rhys Saunders is going to come home in third. Good to see Rhys back on the podium. 1, 2, 3 for the Mercedes. And John Treen actually got ahead of Mike Barber right at the end as well. Is he going to be the one to take the class victory right at the death? Danny Phillips, by the way, disqualified from the race. Mike Barber having a hell of a moment. But we look a little bit further forward, and it is indeed going to be John Treen who's going to take the victory in the interclass. He'll be over the moon with that one. Nick Stube is going to finish in second place, and Daniel Meller just behind them takes a very commanding victory in the club class. Third place in Inter is going to go to Hammond. Lewis will be pleased with that as well. And what about second place in club? It's going to be Michael Rhodes. Quite a long way down on Daniel Meller, it must be said, but a solid drive all the same for Michael. Around the final corner he goes. A couple of black flags and disqualifications in that one. What about Robin Noel Brown? Even after his drive through, he still finishes ahead of some of the others. And it's Andrew Larkman that is going to finish in third place in the interclass in his Porsche. Well, very, very interesting first race of the night there. And a 1-2 for GlassTec Racing. William Humphrey and Marius Hibma taking the spoils with Rhys Saunders. Great to see him back on the podium for Altitude 3M Esports. And the last couple of cars are just going to be crossing the line. Here's Danny Weir in the GT3 Touring spec of the Porsche 911 992 GT3R. He's just recently had the dramas. Should be very fast in a straight line. Quite good use on an aircraft carrier, I imagine that, but it's certainly been through the wars, that machine. But hats off to Danny, that's commitment to get that thing to the end. And I'm sure that once he crosses the line, he's going to pull that thing over. Unless he spent long enough in Formula CDM to know that he must do a full in-lap. I don't know. But the race is finished. And we will get our race result in just a sec. As you can see, the rain continues. More moisture goes down on the circuit as iRacing just calculates where all the moisture will be. and where it was and so on. Here's your race 1 result then. Race 1 result. God, if I could speak English, I'd be good at my job. William Humphrey takes the race victory. 1.8 seconds from Marius Hibma in the end. He obviously backed off quite a bit, and Hibma was able to catch back up. Rhys Saunders another 18 seconds back, with Matt Hoyland in 4th place. Then another big gap back to Nathan Anstis. The top 4 really in a class of their own, to be honest. Mike Barber 6th place. Good result for him ahead of Yanis Albert. He fought hard for that one. Jean Breitenbach 8th place. Stephen Donnelly 9th, and Robin Noel Brown completing the top 10. Max Wheeler was 11th in the pro class, with Danny Phillips finishing in 12th place. In the interclass, we have John Treen taking the win, a second and a half ahead of Nick Stube. That doesn't tell the full story there, though. Nick did an amazing job to lead that class pretty much all the way through. Just lost it with that little moment at the end. Lewis Hammond completes the podium, and then it was Adam Baker and Barry Wenman completing the top 5 there. Laurent Dapper was 6th ahead of Mark de Vries, Menno Blum and Robin Aston, with Chris Jennings completing the top 10 in the Mustang. Then it was James Howarth and Hussein Saraka-Desler, Jan Ostberg and Marcel Breitenbach, and then John Ludbrook and Andre Muntian out with that incident at the start of the race. Daniel Meller, half a minute ahead of anybody else in the club class. He beats Michael Rhodes to the line with Andrew Lartman in 3rd place. Then it was Stuart Rice and Rob Mackay, Andrew Fellows and Pete Paiva. It's a shame because Pete was going really well at the beginning of the race. Danny Weir with what was left of his Porsche at the end. 1 lap ahead of Brian Beardsworth. Andy Chell and Jan Nage did not make it to the end of the race. So, just having a quick look, and unfortunately Dara is not going to be able to join me for tonight. The technical issues still plaguing him, and he doesn't know if he can get back in time, which is a big shame, but these things happen. At the end of the day, it's a fickle industry that we work in here, and with the amount of technology behind it all, it can very easily go wrong. The warm-up session is only on for 2 more minutes, but if you just bear with me for a second, I'll be right back and we'll get the second race underway. Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott here for the SimRacing International GT3 Masters from the wonderful and wet Suzuka. Apologies for a little cutout in the broadcast just there. There was a little bit of a moment where it disconnected. That has been something that has happened a couple of times in the last broadcast or two, which is a big shame to see. And don't worry, that is not me disconnecting from the session. That is the warm-up session finishing for tonight. We're about to get our second grid of the evening on track. You can see iRacing again, just calculating where all the weather is going to be and where all the rain is and was. And this is how they line up on the grid. It's a top 20 reverse from that previous race, and it's Michael Rhodes who inherits pole position. He's alongside Robin Aston in the Interclass. Then it's Menno Blum and his teammate Mark de Vries, making it a SimRacing Team Lowland second row. Laurent de Dapper is next up alongside Stephen Donnelly, the lead pro driver on the grid. He could definitely go for a win here because he was flying in the wet conditions just earlier. Jean Breitenbach is next up alongside Barry Wenman. Adam Baker and Lewis Hammond make it a hell of a lot of Inter drivers inside the top 10. Yannis Albert is next with Daniel Meller, second in the club class, so even after taking that win in the first race, he'll be over the moon with that. Then it's Nick Stube and Mike Barber on row 7. John Treen and Nathan Anstis line up on row 8, and following them we have Matt Hoyland and Rhys Saunders. Marius Hibma and William Humphrey line up 19th and 20th. Robin Noel Brown is 21st ahead of Chris Jennings. Then it's Andrew Larkman alongside Stuart Rice. Rob Mackay is then next to James Howarth with Andrew Fellows and Pete Piver. Then it's Hussein Sarakadesla and Max Wheeler. And then it's Danny Weir 31st alongside Danny Phillips and all Danny row 16. Brian Beardsworth and Jan Osberg are 33rd and 34th. Then it's Marcel Breitenbach alongside John Ludbrook. Happy birthday, John, with a 36th place. Not the present he would have wanted. Andy Chell will start alongside Jan Nage on the second to last row of the grid, and Andre Muntian in the Lamborghini will start at the back of the pack in 39th. Looks at the moment like there's a few drivers haven't gridded up for this one just yet. So hopefully they are just starting from the pits or something. It looks like Andy Chell is starting from the pit lane. So too is Hussein Sarakadesla. I'm not sure about Chris Jennings, John Ludbrook or Andre Muntian. They have not yet formed up. Apologies for the disconnect. Nothing I can do about that. Not a clue why it did it or for how long it did it. But when I noticed it, it tells me how many frames were dropped at the time. I mentioned last time it was disconnecting that it wasn't dropping any frames. It tells me how many I drop at the time, and then as soon as the connection is restored, that number of dropped frames goes back to 0 and resets. So that's not helpful. Either way, what is helpful for Michael Rhodes is if you just quickly look on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see he is miles ahead of anyone else in the club class at the start of this race. He's the one in charge of the pace as they come to the line. And for the second race of the night in the SimRacing International GT3 Masters, here from Suzuka in round 7, we are underway now. Great launch for Michael Rhodes, really matches it well to the green lights. All of the spray in the air, it looks wonderful, doesn't it? Oh, big contact between the STL car and Barry Wenman's in the middle of it. Oh, it was Stephen Donnelly that's gone out wide. Oh, it's a massive accident. Marius Hibma, I think, is involved in that, and William Humphrey has had some contact as well. That's a huge shame. Stephen Donnelly absolutely thrown out of it. Matt Hoyland damaged in the middle of that as well. He was the 344 machine that was stuck in the middle of it all. Not a clue what happened to the STL Mercedes, the SimRacing Lowlands one. There's more drama up the order. That was Danny Phillips getting T-boned there. I think both the Vulkan Fasteners Mercedes were involved in that, yeah, and Jan Nage, a miserable night for him with more damage to the front of that car. Michael Rhodes has got a second lead at the front. He's absolutely loving life. He's gone. Absolutely gone. He'll be over the moon. And there's loads of battles further back though. Big groups like Marius Hibma with a lot of damage to the front of his car. He makes more contact with Laurent de Dapper. Straight on goes Robin Aston onto the gravel. Goodness me, it's mayhem. Absolute mayhem. Nobody with any patience by the look of it. They're all just lobbing themselves at the scenery. The big start for Jean Breitenbach and Yannis Albert up 8 places already. Yannis flying in these opening moments. He benefited from that incident. Clearly, nearly contact with Jean. He's the lead car in the pro class right now. Well, that was pretty scary stuff, wasn't it? Very, very scary stuff. I want to try and have a look at who... Oh, no! It's gone wrong for Rhodes. Michael Rhodes, and now he's going to get hit again. Oh, that's Adam Baker. Michael Rhodes, the race leader, off the circuit. And he was leading the club class as well. That goes now to Stuart Rice. Stuart Rice is the one that takes the lead. Goodness me, let's have a look at that. Rhodes was the first one to get to the corner, and the car just goes around on him. And they all go deep. Yannis hits him. Oh, goodness me. And then, yeah, Adam Baker arrives on the scene as well. It was De Vries at the start that had that massive incident. We need to have a look back and see what happened to him, because that was just utterly nuts, wasn't it? Let's have a look at what happened to Mark De Vries here. So he's on the left-hand side of the shot. Does he get as good a start as Donnelly? Yeah, he's actually going just fine. He hits the brakes. I don't know why he's braking. Maybe it's a slight technical. But then all the drama happens behind. Rhys Saunders is already in contact. All 4 GlassTec Racing cars. Almost like a police blockade with John Treen for a second there. But there must have been some technical or something there for Mark De Vries, and that's why he was on the brakes. And all of a sudden, it all goes to pot. I was just trying to see in the chat there if anybody had said anything about the incident, but no, nothing being said at this moment in time. As Yannis Albert forces the issue down the inside of Menno Bloom. Oh, in the background, that's Hibma. Hibma around, and doesn't look like he's going to have a repeat of all the wins that he's had in the last couple of weeks in Formula CDM. Yannis Albert around the outside of Menno Bloom. I'm sure he'll have his eyes shut for that one as well. Through he goes. Brilliant stuff. But look at this, John Breitenbach in the barbecue bread racing. Well, it's toast at the moment, isn't it? Flying. Leading the race overall. Oh, Danny Weir is off. He's off at the hairpin. He's had his own drama. Now the rain has stopped, Uello. The rain has stopped, but there's still a lot of standing water out there, so they're having to be really careful with all the spray and all of the puddles here and there on the circuit. It's really misleading how dry the track is. It looks dry, but it is far from. Laurent de Dapper here, side by side with John Treen. John taking the win in the the first race of the night. William Humphrey is in the pit lane. Yeah, he had damage, so too did Rhys Saunders, Matt Hoyland. 3 GlassTec cars involved in that first incident that have seemingly suffered from it. Marius Hibma down in 18th place. Nick Stube is the only one that actually managed to get through relatively unscathed, and he's up in 5th position again, as he was in the earlier race. John Breitenbach doing the fastest lap of the race, flying in these conditions. Menno Bloom has got Lewis Hammond behind him. And those two are the lead 2 cars in class. Nick Stube currently 3rd in class in the Inter category. A very, very interesting first couple of laps here at Suzuka in the feature race as Menno runs a little bit wide. Nick Stube, as always, has company, and it's again Mike Barber and Nathan Anstis in the group behind him. They're going to be fed up at the back of that Mercedes. That little rain light blinking away. Not quite an appropriate comment there, Reese. But really not sure what the braking was for from De Vries. Hopefully, if anything, it was because of a technical, because there was no other reason for him to brake. And then obviously the contact happened, the field concertinaed together, and that was that. Big contact everywhere. Pete Paiva once again gaining lots of places in the opening moments of this race. 15 positions for him. Stuart Rice, who leads the club class, by the way, in the BMW, he's gained 14 positions to be where he is right now. As well, that was Laurent de Dapper at the side of the road there in the Porsche. He rejoins with no rear wing. That thing's not going to be going well around there. Let's get his teammate Pete just in front. He'll be thinking, flipping out, Pete, where have you come from? Yeah, he's having to back out of that. The car is not going to behave itself. But I was going to say, Stuart Rice in the BMW, it's probably one of the best cars for these wet conditions, actually. Because usually, he's not sure what gear to be in there. But usually in these wetter conditions, it's the larger bodied cars, you know. It used to be the likes of the BMW M6s and even the Lexuses, you know, the ISFs are very good in the wet weather. The Bentley Continentals used to be, the Nissan GTRs. The chunkier GT3 cars have just a bit more of a spread of the weight over all 4 corners, and they just have that little bit more stability in wet conditions. I'd be surprised if the BMW is more of a pig than any of the others. Certainly looks like one at the front. Stuart doing a great job leading in the club class now that Michael Rhodes has been off and out. Let's see if he can hold that until the end of the race. I'm sure he'll be over the moon with it. James Howarth's going well. Max Wheeler's going well. James Howarth's gained 12 places. Max Wheeler has gained 15. Jan Osberg has gained 14. And Jan Nage as well, despite the drama at the start, despite having no front on the car, he's actually gained 16 places in his Mercedes so far. So there's a number of drivers making their way through in strong fashion. But right now we need to have a look at the lead battle in Inter, because Lewis Hammond is getting away from Menno Blum, but he's got Nick Stubb all over the back of him. But Nick is under pressure of his own there with Mike Barber in the Porsche, piling it on. Super interested to see how the circuit dries out in the later parts of this race, and whether it is worth going on to dries at any point. What the risk is going to be like trying to pit for them if it does get dry enough. For Swar, very sideways there. Great avoidance from Mike Barber to back out of that and not hit Nick Stube. Not stube his toe. This is so twitchy. Oh, Nick looking down the inside of Menno. He doesn't need to do it there. And Mike may stick his nose down the inside. No, he does the responsible thing and says, I'm not bothering with that, Chaz. He's saying, you clearly don't know me that well, son. As Stuart Rice and Robin Noel Brown are side by side now. Stuart under attack from the Aston Martin. The Aston is another car that I'd expect goes well in the wet conditions. Front-engined, big machine. It's got a colossal rear wing on it, that Aston Martin. It looks like an RC car, doesn't it, with that cartoonishly chunky rear wing. But Stuart, if it gets too busy in this fight, may be better off just letting Robin go at this point. We'll have to see how he plays it. Two DXT cars together there. James Howarth and Barry Wenman. They make their way up to 130R. This is the view from the McLaren. The McLaren sort of suffers a bit more from the spray than a number of other cars because it's so low down from the cockpit. Matt Hoyland saying, nah, you're alright. He doesn't want to go back out on track. Pretty scary stuff. Says he's having a drink now. Unreal. Well, interesting race so far tonight. Jean Breitenbach, by the way, leading by 4.5 seconds. He's getting away from Yannis Albert. That is not Yannis directly behind him. Yannis is here in the Lamborghini. Yannis was 0.3 of a second slower than him on that previous circulation, so Jean is the guy to beat right now. And they've been the car to beat all season on livery alone, so it's good to see that the Porsche's got pace in it in the wet conditions as well. Jean making the most of that race start. He started 7th overall on the grid. I did say that Stephen Donnelly was going to be the one to watch, but we've got a number of drivers, unfortunately, out of this race. But it looks like John is just in so much control of this car right now. He's loving it. Let's go on board and just see what it's like from... oh, from the edge of the circuit, I guess, in the gravel. I was just going to say, he's going to make it look easy, surely, but no, he's dropped 0.5 second to Yannis Albert. So he's not got it all his own way, to say the least. Into Spoon Curve. It just looks like the circuit's dry, but every so often as you get to the apex, you can just see that shiny puddle of water on the inside. There's a little bit of spray here and there running up the windscreen. I do think iRacing have nailed the visuals of wet weather racing, especially from an onboard perspective. Listen to this Porsche scream. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. Yes, Stuart Rice is off. I've just noticed that. Oh, there's been big contact down here. That's Barry Wenman in the McLaren. Something large has happened down here. Max Wheeler has been off the road. He was with these guys, I'm pretty sure. Oh, no. Oh, that's a huge, huge mess. What is that all about? Robin Noel Brown came to blows first. So Robin is chasing down Stuart. I hope he doesn't go for it here. Oh, dearie me. Yeah, he's going to understeer into him. They all come to a stop. The LS Racing Porsche does a fantastic job there. The others, I'm not going to say they did a bad job. It was always going to be difficult to avoid there. But Adam Baker, take a bow. This is fantastic accident avoidance. He sees it going on in front of him. He stays on the brakes, slows it down. Nicely avoided, sir. Very, very well avoided there by Adam Baker. could say that a number of others could probably learn a thing or two from that, but let's have another look at it. That is a huge shame for Stuart Rice. Completely not his own fault. He was under attack. Like I said before, if it was going to get... Oh, I mean, Max could have slowed down a bit more there, couldn't he? As I said earlier, if it would have got more feisty, I would have expected Stuart to move over and let it just sort of pass him by to hold on to the class lead. He didn't do anything wrong there. He wasn't fighting it too hard or anything like that. At the end of the day, he was just going about his race, and he got understeered into. Mike Barber and Nathan Anstis are having a good old scrap here behind Nick Stube once again, as they did in the previous race. Very interesting stuff to watch, though, as these guys fight amongst seemingly nothing. James Howarth around in the Mustang. People are going to think they've erected a new building on the exit of the first Degner. Pete Piver losing a place here to Max Wheeler. Ferrari seemingly not as confident there. Why are they all going so slowly? Is there a safety car or something? They're all absolutely crawling up to that hairpin. Robin Noel Brown really caught out by the two of them there. That was very strange. Strange behaviour there by Max Wheeler and Pete Piver. Robin Noel Brown scoots through in the Aston. I don't think the Aston scoots, does it? It sort of roars its way past. What about John Breitenbach? It's nice and calm where he is, look. It's like a qualifying lap in the rain. Not even in the rain. Beautiful. That's what you want to see, isn't it? Nearly halfway through the race, and John Breitenbach leads by 5.8, now 6 seconds from Yannis Albert. Yannis is the white and red Lamborghini just in the background. John Breitenbach doing the fastest lap of the race as well. So it looks like he's not slowing down anytime soon. 0.8 of a second faster than Yannis in that one. Lewis Hammond leads the way in the Inter class. I thought that was him directly behind him then, but no, he's 7.5 seconds back. Lewis still doing what he needs to do to win this class as of right now. Oh, we've had a few more offs actually. Oh, Stuart Rice has been off again. Laurent de Dapper involved, Jan Osberg involved. Let's have a look what happened here. Into the hairpin. Oh, it's just not slowing down. Oh, dearie me. Does the right thing though and gets it onto the infield very, very quickly. Yannis Albert has stopped. Yannis Albert came to a stop. He's had a drama. Let's have a look. More and more replays for you all. Hope you're enjoying them. He's just going to lose it on the inside here. Maybe clip the curb. No, just on the downshift. Lamborghini gives up on him, but wonderful, wonderful save. Oh, he has been hit. There wasn't really a lot that the Porsche could do. Was that Lewis Hammond? No, it was his teammate, Michael Rhodes. Oh, it's such a shame, actually. Michael was leading the race earlier, don't forget. Such a huge shame for Michael. And he's having dramas with the car now. It's broken. It's amazing how a race can go from one extreme to the other, isn't it? Poor Michael, you've got to feel for him. Mike Barber currently running 5th in class. Sorry, 5th overall, 3rd in class. He's trying his best to get past Nick Stube, but Nick doesn't want to start. Oh, hello. Nathan Anstis. I mean, he's been getting close to the back of people on the brakes all night. I mean, that was always going to happen, wasn't it? Ran in the back of him. A bit late on the brakes, sad to say the least, from Nathan. Hopefully he's not done any major damage to either car and they're still all right to continue. There's no meatball flags out for them, so should be fine. But as I was going to say, Nick Stube doesn't want to fight with anybody, especially not in the pro class, because he wants to go chasing that Darkwing Racing Porsche just in front of him. He's not far away either. John Breitenbach, another fastest lap of the race, 2:16.2. So the times are tumbling. 13.5 minutes left to go here in Suzuka. This fantastic round of the SimRacing International GT3 Masters Championship. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast so far. Chaz Draycott flying solo here tonight. Unfortunately, Dareth Acker unable to join me due to technical problems. Hopefully he'll have them sorted and we can have him back next week. I am sad to say that next week at Magny-Cours, one of my very favourite racing circuits, is going to be my last broadcast of the season. Unfortunately, due to other work commitments, I'm going to be away with the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship after that. So due to those commitments, I will no longer be able to provide coverage for the rest of the season. Hussein Sarakadesla here, looking down the inside of Danny Weir, making the move down the inside. Through he goes, thank you very, very much. Oh, nearly going back at him, actually. Close stuff on the exit. We need to have a look on board with John Treen. He's chasing down Menno Blurm at the moment for third position in their class. Through the Degners, very, very twitchy through there. Loads of gravel on the exit for them to kick up. Must be said as well, Andrew Fellows is now the guy leading the class in the club class. He's only 9/10 of a second ahead of Pete Paiva. You can see the Ferrari just behind him there. There he is. And they're 2.6 seconds clear of Rob Mackay. So after Stuart Rice has been off, those guys now very close together. And it's certainly looking a bit twitchy there. Hibma carrying on despite the damage that he had from earlier. And he's putting Robin Noel Brown under all sorts of pressure. Just listen to this Aston. Such a great sounding machine. Listen as he gets back on the throttle now. Fantastic, isn't it? Listen to it go. Oh, such a low growl. Brilliant sounding machine. Almost identical 4-litre V8 that you'd see in a lot of Mercedes nowadays. Lewis Hammond currently holding third overall and first in class, but I tell you, he's under pressure from Nick Stube. In the background as well, you've got Nathan Anstis and Mike Barber, and then you've got Menno Blurm and John Treen, third and fourth in class for both of these duos actually. John in fourth, Menno in third. Nathan Anstis in fourth, Mike Barber in third. And then Nick Stube and Lewis Hammond. It's actually quite funny because it's 1-2, 1-2, 3-4, 3-4 in each of the classes at the minute. The top 8. It's taken me way too long to realise that, but here we are. Some good battles going on all the same. Just 10 minutes left to go here at Suzuka. And this race evening has certainly flown by. But these four are going to get closer and closer together here. I feel like Nathan Anstis is going to start closing in on Barber, who's closing in on Stube again. He's closing in on Hammond. There might be a bit of a pinch point here in this quartet. Yannis Albert still holding on to second position. Can't remember the last time we saw Albert on the podium, actually. Just having a look. Albert was on the podium about 4 rounds ago, I've got. But we've not seen him up there for quite a while. Look at the run that Nathan Anstis has got. He's been flat through there all night. And look, Mike Barber says, no thank you, mate. I don't want any part of that. Through you may go. Anstis is now going to push on and try and get one over on Nick Stube, but Nick is too bothered by the Porsche in front of him, of Lewis Hammond. He tries to overtake him. Up towards 130R again, a lot more moisture up over the crest of that hill. You can see the rooster tails getting longer. Just that little bit of moisture being kicked up. As they all close up on the brakes once again. The Mercedes certainly fills a lot of your windscreen, doesn't it? Yannis Albert just a little bit slower than John Breitenbach on that previous lap. He's 11 seconds clear now, is John, after that incident for Yannis. And look at that. That is a statement of intent by Lewis Hammond, moving all the way over to the right, saying, look, if you want the slipstream, you've got to come and get it. He's just trying to gauge what Nick Stube's intentions are as well. As, Barry Wenman disqualified from the race. That's what the black and white flag on the left-hand side means. Max Wheeler with too many incident points, so he's going to have a drive-through penalty as well. That's why he's got the black flag next to his name. It's been a very, very attritional night here, as these wet weather races usually are. And these conditions have been super interesting to watch. Right now, though, Nathan Anstis wants to take this place off Nick Stube. He cares not for the inter-class battle. Oh, and he's going to ruin it for Nick Stube. Down the inside he goes, and yeah, Nathan showing he doesn't give one about the interclass right now. Forces the issue and goes past the Dutchman. Oh, cuts a lot of the inside curve there, though. He's lucky not to get a slowdown penalty for that. Laurent de Dapper is now disqualified from the race as well. This quartet, though, we need to keep our eye on. because these guys are absolutely on the edge of tripping over each other, even in these conditions. It may not be raining like it was earlier. Now watch Anstis through here. I don't know how he does it, but he's always so quick through this right-hander. The others feel like they've got to back out of it or be careful. You know what, actually? Lewis Hammond has kept it pinned through there as well. Very, very committed stuff. But he just gains so much time on the cars behind him. Look, he's opened up a sort of car length over them through just that sector down towards Spoon Curve. The back of that Porsche in front has been battered in. Hopefully Nathan doesn't make another dent in it, because he's very close to the back of it now as they head up towards 130R. Let's go on board as they go over the crest of the hill. He's surely not going to look down the inside into 130R. Oh, Nathan, what are you doing? I don't know why he's trying it there, but all he's going to do is hinder himself. There's no bigger picture thinking going on there for Anstis. Round the outside, he's going to have the inside for the next corner. It's great in the end, and look at that. Down the inside goes Nick Stube, but look, all Nathan's doing by making these moves like that is just holding the three of them up. It's now side by side for the class lead in Inter. Nathan showing complete disregard for anyone else's class battle. He just wants to get away from Mike Barber. He's on for an overall podium right now, but Nick Stube doesn't care about that. Braking and thinking very calmly there. Lewis Hammond gets on the brakes early on that inside line, and he thinks, right, I need to get back behind that Mercedes now and sit with him. There's a lot of mind games going on in this part of the race. Andrew Fellows has been off and lost loads of places and time, and Pete Paiva is now the driver that leads the way in the club class from Rob Mackay. Let's have a look at what happened to Andrew Fellows. He was in front of the two of them. He's going to lose it on the way up to the hairpin, isn't he? On the downshift. Oh, that's a big old off as well for Andrew. He's going to let it roll backwards to try and recover it, but no, through goes Pete Paiva. And the Brazilian leads the way now in the club class. He'll be absolutely buzzing with that. He won't be buzzing about that big old Mercedes behind him. Rob Mackay right there, hoping to take advantage. No, the Ferrari's gone. Pete Paiva sideways manages to get it stopped. Oh, nobody trying to get it going again. Oh, dearie me. That was scary stuff there. James Howarth down the inside of Marius Hibma. Makes contact, nearly pushes Marius into him. Howarth has let him back through. Andrew Fellows now says thank you very much. Back up into second place in class. Rob Mackay leads the class now. Well, for how long? It seems like nobody wants to win the club class tonight. Goodness me. Nick Stube still leading this man, Lewis Hammond. I'm sure Lewis won't mind finishing second in class. Nick Stube finished second earlier with Lewis in third, so if these two are first and second, then I'm sure they won't mind too much. John Treen is in fourth place, hoping to overtake Menno Blum, but he's 4 seconds behind him. He's just coming over the hill now. We need to go back to the front, because look at this. John Breitenbach, 10 seconds up the road from Yannis Albert's Lamborghini. John has put on a sensational performance so far. 4.5 minutes left to go. I think we are going to get to the point again where we just cross the line to make it one extra lap. We'll have to wait and see. Mike Barber is having to sit and watch this inter-class battle, because he can't really do anything about it. I don't think he wants to spoil the fun there. Nathan Anstis, like I say, has just messed up their fight and left. Fair play to him, though. His pace has been brilliant tonight with Nathan Anstis. Every time we see him, he seems to be faster than the car that's in front of him. So the confident crossed arms are certainly not without reason, not without merit. A lot less spray now on the surface, but you can see just how much the cars are skating around on these used wets on a greasy track. Doesn't look comfortable at all, does it? Whoa, Mike Barber nearly losing the rear end of the Porsche there. Loads of gravel bouncing around as well. Menno Blum really pushing in that Mercedes, considering it's got no front end on it. He won't know that, though. Whoa! Might have no back end on it in a minute. It's just all so tiptoey. It's crazy because it still looks dry. There's a drying line, but you can see some of the drivers are trying to use the wet parts of the circuit to keep the tyres cool and not overheat them and absolutely melt them. It's crazy that with it being looking so dry and sunny, that it is still so treacherous. Oh, James Howarth. James Howarth's had another drama in the Mustang. He's not having a good time down there at the Degners. He's going to get going again. Andrew Larkman has just been off the road as well. Larkman having a bit of a difficult night. Larkman down in 24th place, 9th in class. He has recovered though, so he's still going. Personal best by Jean Breitenbach. He did a purple sector 2 on that last lap. Yannis Albert was 0.4 of a second quicker. So it could still be all to play for here if there's any sign of a mistake from Jean. Let's go back on board with the South African. See just how tentative he is to put any lock on at all. He doesn't want to over-rotate the car. It's drying out quite quickly now. If you look on the right-hand side, you'll see it's 28 degrees track temperature, 20 degree air temp, so it's all just down to the humidity. The clouds are disappearing. It's been a super interesting race, this second one. Rather than just treacherous wet conditions, it's this horrible greasy state where it's between conditions, where it's been wet and it's drying out. I was just thinking then, didn't that Porsche sound like a Mustang? But it's just where the bridge is. One of the Mustangs has obviously gone up towards 130R. This Porsche looks and sounds great. 10-second lead now for Jean Breitenbach. 13 seconds from Yannis Albert back to Nathan Anstis. Let's have just a quick look here at why Stuart Rice might have been flashing the lights there. Oh, I mean, Stuart was going very slow towards the apex and then went to commit and then didn't. So I'm not. I don't know whether that was a flash of the lights saying sorry. But yeah, it was a little bit indecisive there, and Yannis did well not to hit the back of the BMW. Danny Weir, by the way, he's hoping for a podium here. In class, he's going to get it. Pete Piver's off. Every time we look at the Ferrari, something happens to it. Pete's got to be really careful here. Oh, he's done well there, actually, to spin it back around and not completely cross the circuit. But Pete Piver, another spin, and after leading the class earlier, that's going to be absolutely devastating. Jean Breitenbach is about to cross the line, but he's going to have one more lap to go with just 15 seconds left on the clock. There's going to be another circulation of Suzuka needed for him to take what I'm sure is going to be, I'm not going to say it, Mike Barber on that drying line all over the back of Lewis Hammond's Porsche. Lewis hasn't been able to stay with Nick Stube. Stube is going to be really pleased to lead this class and start opening up a gap in the final moments. Just got to keep it together for one more lap. All the other three GlassTec cars are having a very difficult time. Marius Hibma still running. He's 6th in class, but he's 14th overall with a damaged car that isn't giving him what he wants. He certainly is struggling. Look, James Howarth is going to breeze past him in the Mustang. Something quite wrong with Marius's machine, it seems, other than just that front end damage. It's so understeery. Look at it. He's having to put a lot of lock in just to get it to go around 130R, even at reduced pace. Rob Mackay still leads in the club class, and he will do right to the end, I'm pretty sure. Breitenbach has backed off. He's backed off in this final lap because, quite simply, he knows he doesn't need to push like mad now to beat Yannis Albert. Nathan Anstis did the fastest lap of the race last time around, 2 minutes 15 exactly. The pace is getting quicker and quicker as the circuit dries out. But it looks like this is going to be a very, very impressive win by Jean Breitenbach. He's going to come round the final couple of corners now, up to 130R. Relatively unchallenged. He's not even got any traffic around him on the circuit. He's having quite the easy time of it, to say the least. Into the final chicane he goes, and I want to see some hands together in chat. A fantastic victory in race number 2 for Jean Breitenbach round the final corner in the Barbecue Bread Racing Porsche, and he takes the win here in Japan in very tricky conditions. What a drive by the South African. He'll be absolutely buzzing with that, and I look forward to hopefully having an interview with him in a few minutes' time. Yanis Albert, second place in the Lamborghini. Third place is going to go the way of Nathan Anstis. A very determined performance by Nathan tonight. And just behind him, Nick Stoob is going to take the victory in the Interclass. I'm sure he'll be pretty relieved to have taken that one. Second place is going to be Lewis Hammond. He just misses out on fifth place overall to Mike Barber. Menno Blum finishes in third place despite no front end on that car. And into the final few corners comes Rob Mackay. He's going to take the race victory in the club class, in the Mercedes. And very well done to Special Noodle Dog for taking that one. Lovely, lovely drive. 14 places gained for him. Andrew Fellows is going to come home in second place. And Danny Weir is going to get himself on the podium for the first time in a couple of meetings. And in tricky conditions, like I say, that one's going to mean a lot to them. More across the line, Marius Hibma just behind. Pete Paiva, so gutted for Pete. He led the class, then he was on for a class podium. Then he lost out. Fourth place overall in class. We've got the two Jans near each other on circuit. Jan Naj just coming into the last corner now for the Vulkan Fasteners by GlassTec Racing squad. Short shifting, taking it easy as he crosses the line. And then Jan Osberg following him across the line as well. You can hear them both short shifting like mad. Andy Chell will be the final car to cross the line in the Corvette. Not seen much of Andy tonight, unfortunately. It was a bit of an attritional evening where a number of drivers were out before it really began. It's a very clean looking Corvette, but he was in the pits on lap 1, which took him out of contention in the early stages. So, let us have a look then at some results, shall we? We'll put some tunes on and have a quick ganders through at exactly how that all finished up. In the Pro class, it was John Breitenbach taking a fantastic victory, 9 seconds at the flag from Yanis Albert in the Simstrat by GlassTec Racing Lamborghini. Nathan Anstis put in a great performance all night, really entertaining to watch. He finished in third. Mike Barber was fourth, with Robin Noel Brown in fifth. That Aston Martin had, well, a battle with just about everybody tonight. Marius Hibma was next up, the only other GlassTec Racing car to finish, with Max Wheeler seventh, William Humphrey, Rhys Saunders, Matt Hoyland, Stephen Donnelly and Danny Phillips all out in the opening stages. Next up was Nick Stoob winning the way in the Interclass. He finished ahead of Lewis Hammond by just 1.7 seconds after a great fight. Menno Blum finished in third place, with John Treen in fourth position. Adam Baker completes the top 5. James Howarth was next up, a couple of spins, and he still managed to just miss out on the top 5. Jan Osberg, was 7th, with Mark de Vries 3 laps down, Hussein Sarkadesla 4 laps down. Then it was Barry Wenman, Laurent Dapper both out of the race, Robin Aston, Marcel Breitenbach, Chris Jennings, John Ludbrook and Andre Muntian all out of the race by the time it finished. Rob Mackay wins in the club class, 1.8 seconds clear of Andrew Fellows, with Danny Weir in third ahead of Pete Paiva and Jan Naj in fifth. Andy Chell was 6th ahead of Stuart Rice, with Brian Beardsworth in 8th. Andrew Larkman was 3 laps down, and Daniel Meller and Michael Rhodes didn't make it to the end. Well, what a busy night of racing that was, everybody. Plenty to look at, plenty to think about. I want to have a look again at this incident off the start. Mark de Vries here, as you can see, he gets most of the way down the straight and then he turns right and starts braking. Just about now, he hits the brakes a couple of times, moves over to the right. Drivers try to avoid him and then he just goes left again into Stephen Donnelly. That starts the initial chain reaction. Let's have a look here. William Humphrey goes through... Oh no, William's ahead of Rhys Saunders. They're all going onto the brakes very hard indeed. I think that's Matt Hoyland behind them. And then down the inside goes John Treen. Oh, there's contact between the GlassTec car and John Treen. I don't think Rhys knew he was there. And then all of a sudden, Donnelly rolls back onto the circuit. It's 2 incidents in one, actually. And then look at John Treen get the presidential escort here by the GlassTec squad as they all surround him. Donnelly then makes contact with the Porsche on the left. It was all a little bit messy, to say the least. And unfortunately, that's where a number of people's races ended But we've got some great people to speak to, and I'm delighted to say that the first of them is going to be our eventual feature race winner, John Breitenbach. John, welcome to the booth, mate. You must be buzzing. What a drive.
Thank you. I don't know if buzzing is quite the word. It was quite a mixed evening. The second race obviously was quite nice. I was a little bit... Well, I went aggressive at the start, hoping to make up some positions. I think I did make slight contact with Lawrence the Dapper. So sorry about that, but nothing intentional. Especially it was a good result after what happened in the first one. I thought we had a warm-up between qualifying and the race, so I got up and went to the bathroom and went to check on my partner.
Oh,
and by the time I got back, there was, the race was on its way.
That's gutting. Absolutely gutting. I mean, even I forget when the warm-up's on before the races, to be fair. So, yeah, it's easily done. But either way, it looked mighty tricky out there on those conditions, more so actually in the second race, because as it dries out, the wet tyres are dying, it's harder to judge, surely.
Exactly. So as soon as I had a bit of a gap, it was all just about managing the tyres, trying to cool them off, not going too hot in anywhere, because it's basically like driving a slick in the wet.
Yeah.
As soon as you overheat them, you have no grip anywhere.
Yeah, it certainly looked mighty tricky, but the Porsche seems to be quite a good platform for wet weather conditions. Would you argue it's one of the best for that, because it seems stable from the outside?
Yeah, I think from the few wet races we've had so far, every time the Porsches tend to go towards the front, and it just has very good grip on exit, which is quite nice, but it's hard to judge exactly how good it is, and see the most of the other pro drivers right now at the top of the field are in the Mercedes. Without the Vulkan guys, it's hard to have a good benchmark of if it's just the car or if the drivers are doing particularly well in those conditions.
Yeah, I imagine that is quite tough in a GT3 league with so many cars in the field now as well. But it's still been a very competitive season once again, hasn't it? Every single week seems to be so different.
Yeah, so I think the weather mixing it up is definitely helping as well. But I think if we go back to just normal dry racing in the near future, then I expect to see the same two people at the front, with Giannis getting in there every now and then as well.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a fantastic night in the second half for you, John, and it's great to see you get that victory. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before you go?
Just the usual, shout out to Marcel. He had a pretty terrible race, so it's very unfortunate that one went quite well and the other one went quite bad. But, these things happen, and we come back, well, not next week for me, but the week after, and we just try again.
Well, fingers crossed for you, mate. Good to speak to you, and
Thanks,
well done
bud.
on that fantastic win.
Thanks, guys.
John Breitenbach there, over the moon with that victory. But like you said, it's been a bit of an evening of two halves for him, so I'm interested to see how he bounces back in both races next time out. What about Lewis Hammond? Lewis, welcome to the box, mate. You certainly had a busy night at the front end of the Inter class tonight. Didn't quite get that win, but it was certainly close.
Absolutely. It was. It felt pretty close in both races. Unfortunate to lose out in the second race where I felt like I had a good bit of pace. But it was a good night overall.
Absolutely. I mean, you were always in a battle with somebody, and I suppose in those conditions it just keeps it nice and exciting rather than just fighting for your life on your own.
I was having some good battles and fighting myself at the same time, I think. The Porsche needing a lot of little corrections, and there are a few hairy moments.
I was going to say, I just spoke to Jean then, and from the outside it looks like the Porsche is the more stable car, but it seems like that's not actually the case from behind the wheel. There's a lot of, like you say, micro adjustments, really, isn't there?
Yeah, especially with the races we had. Race 1, the track was getting wetter all the time, and race 2, the track getting drier all the time. Every lap you had to relearn where the grip was and where you could push and where you couldn't.
Well, it certainly was entertaining to watch, and obviously some big championship points for you tonight. What do you make of Manicourt, where we're going next week in France? I know it's in France, which is a shame, but still.
I've never done a lap round it, so I'll be hoping to get some good practice in before next week.
I think unless you watched F1 in the 90s at Manicourt, you love it, and well, everybody hates it unless they did watch F1 actually in the 90s. That's why I love it, and no one else seems to like it. Still, great performance tonight, Lewis. Lovely to see you fighting up there at the top of the class. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before you go?
Yeah, big shout out to both Mike and Gav, who were sat in Discord with me and cheering me on throughout the race, and yeah, of course to Darkwing Racing as well.
Lovely stuff. Well done again, mate, and we look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Cheers, thank you.
Okie dokie, Lewis Hammond there. Let's see who else we can have a chat with. Oh, we can't leave out Rob Mackay, can we? Taking a class win in the end there, Rob. It didn't look like it was going to happen to begin with. There was cars absolutely everywhere, but then you just managed to plug your way through.
Oh, that was chaos at the start, and then I got clipped by someone, so I had wheel damage from lap 1. I was just nursing the car, hoping others would have a bit of misfortune, and as it turned out they did. Unlucky for Andy Larkman getting disconnected. That was building for a nice 4-way battle at the end.
I was going to say, I did wonder if that's what had happened to him, because I did notice he suddenly stopped. Like, it wasn't like he had an incident or anything, because I couldn't get a replay of it, so that is a huge, huge shame. But, I mean, these conditions tonight, I mean, anything could have happened, couldn't it? It was so changeable, and it looked more difficult in the second race than the first.
Yeah, the start of the second race was horrid. It was wet, but not as wet as it had been at the end of the second race. But it was still raining, and then yeah, it was a relief when the rain stopped and the dry lines started to appear. Nowhere near ready to try and do a swap to dry tyres or anything. It was just try and make the best of what you can.
And what was it like then when you realised you had the class lead then? Was there a moment of, oh God, let's just hang it together? Did anything change?
I muted Discord and just went into absolute full concentration mode. Realised I'd lost a couple of seconds on Andy Fellows behind as we came to the last couple of laps. I started pushing a little bit more just to stop that gap closing anymore. But he held his pace as well and held that gap nicely to the end.
I was going to say it was quite tense because a lot of the gaps in all the classes were staying very similar in the final few laps, and it almost felt like you were just waiting for somebody to have that one little moment just to get caught out by the wet line, but you all managed it with excellent precision. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go tonight, Rob?
I suppose I better give a shout out to Danny as he picked up P3, so the final podium in race 2. He'll kick me out the team if I don't mention him.
Well, he's waited a while for that podium as well, so yeah, I'd imagine so. Bless him. Well, very well done tonight, Rob. Great race to get that win in class there. Lovely to see it, and yeah, hopefully more to come.
Hopefully. We'll see what the rest of the season brings.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Well, very well done to Rob Mackay there, taking the class victory in club at the end of the night. Unfortunately, though, that is all we have time for here tonight on the SimRacing International GT3 Masters broadcast. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Apologies again for Dara not being able to make it, technical issues, and I'm sure you all know just how it is in this industry. But what a fantastic and entertaining evening we've had here at Suzuka. Don't forget, we'll be back again in a week's time at Magny-Cours for round 8 of the championship. It'll be my last broadcast of the season, unfortunately, but it's one of my favourite circuits, so I look forward to going out in a blaze of glory there with you all watching. I've been Chaz Draycott. This has been the SimRacing International GT3 Masters Championship from Suzuka, and we'll see you in a week's time. Take care.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.